everybody. Welcome to Nightmare Road. And I am one of your hosts. I'm SOS, and I'm here with a very dark and mysterious
Haywire.
Yes.
And we're here with the very flighty
Dirty Birdie.
Dirty Birdie.
And just to let our viewers know, tonight Deacon is taking the week off, so he will be back with us next week. But we have a really cool topic tonight. So, Dirty Bird, what's our topic?
Our topic tonight is miracles and just the strange and unusual miracles that we've come across during our research. So I've got a
Very light
couple.
topic for us.
Yes.
I got a couple. I know Haywire's got a couple, and you got a big one, SOS.
Yeah. And
So-
you know, last podcast we did medical malpractice, and it was really a dark subject. So we
Yeah.
thought we'd lighten it up this week. You know, that's how we hang here. So, all right, Dirty Bird, lead the
Who
way.
wants to go? Okay. So one of the miracles that I came across was one that was in Portugal. And three children, and well, it took place in 1917, three children claimed to have seen the Virgin Mary on their walk home from tending sheep. The children told their parents and spread the word of the visions. As more people gathered where the children saw the visions, it became a hotspot to see if they could see her. One day, 70,000 people attended the site, and the children claimed to see her. Mary claimed to put an end to World War I as soon as the people and that the people should repent. One person pointed up and said the sun. Everyone claimed that the sun did miraculous things such as dance around the sky and spread pinwheel psychedelic colors. Now, during this, all these people got sprinkled with a little bit of rain. And when they went, look at the sun, and people looked up and it was doing that disc-shaped thing with the psychedelic colors, it went over them, and everybody who was wet was miraculously dry after that. And a lot of people
don't have any explanation for that.
A lot of people are just saying it's a sundog, whatever that was.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking is a sundog, but I don't have an explanation for being.
What's a sundog?
Yeah.
So sundog from you're gonna put me to test here. Sundog. So I'm trying to think. I think it has to do with when there's moisture in the air. Man, it forms a circle around the sun, like from our vantage point. And a sundog, I also think it can show almost looks like a second, like another sun, but it's like refraction. Now, I'm probably totally wrong on this, and one of our viewers is going to point. But I'm trying to remember meteorology from like 20 years ago, guys. So, yeah, I'm kind of thinking that's what it was. But anyway, anyhow, go ahead. 70,000 people in one day came to see this, though?
Yeah.
That's a lot of people.
That's insane.
Well, yeah. Well, this was like 100 years ago, and you got to think in a very Catholic / Christian community. Somebody goes, I saw the Virgin Mary in a field, and all the, everybody's going to be like, well, I want to see him too.
Yeah, but think about the mode of transportation 100 years ago. I mean, it was mostly on foot and
horse and buggy.
Wagons and buggies and horseback and, you know.
So, 70,000 people in one little spot.
I always think about the septic issues and something like that.
I do too. Not to mention that it rained, so it's probably muddy in a field.
Yeah.
Where there's sheep and stuff. No.
Yeah, but sheep poop are little. You don't even see them. It's kind of like rabbit poop.
Yeah, but 70,000 people standing around, moving around in a field with sheep doo-doo on the ground. And that's going to cause problems, especially if they just walked like 7 miles to go see it, and they got blisters on their feet. And they're like, yeah, let's go stomp in a field.
Oh gosh, I can tell that you've never eaten a sandwich sitting on a hay bale in the middle of the barn.
I have when I was camping.
Yeah, so the whole doo-doo thing doesn't bother me a bit.
I know it probably doesn't bother you. I'm just, yeah. I mean, they
Yeah,
didn't have like shoes and boots like we did. They probably like had sandals or something
yeah.
like that.
You know, the thing is with a lot of these miracles like this, a lot of them are Catholic in nature, right? They're not. A lot of them are, not all of them, but a lot of them are. They're, the Virgin Mary or the Christ on a toast or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
So,
What do you have, Haywar?
Yeah, I've got a few small ones.
Okay.
I was thinking about how, a man turned $1 million into a empire and a presidency. So I'm just kidding. I'm not going to talk about Donald Trump being a millionaire, like being a miracle, but I thought it was a funny point of view to come at that I found while I was doing some research. But kind of with the lighter topic and kind of like what you said, where miracles are really like religious based. Um, I I really like got into the miracles of Jesus that Jesus performed, right? It was really interesting because I was raised Mormon and I didn't hear about a lot of these. So I don't know if it was just like I didn't get taught, I wasn't paying attention, but one that I felt like was Nightmare Roadish was about the exorcism that Jesus did. And I guess he performed a few of them, but one of the bigger ones, or more notable, I should probably say, was that there was this man that was supposedly had a legion of demons inside of him. Tried to attack himself, the townspeople. He would cut himself a lot. And Jesus was able to cast out this legion of demons. He um so he cast them out. He made a deal with them basically because they were like put us in these like pigs, I guess.
yep, I've heard of
And
this one.
yeah, so I'm hoping I'm doing okay because
Yeah.
it's something that I don't normally like look into or research, but I'm trying to expand my horizons. And so these demons, they went into these pigs and then ran the pigs off of a cliff to do like
Yeah.
one last malicious act. But the act of Jesus casting out this legion of demons is considered a big miracle to a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
The last one that I researched that I found that I thought was interesting, and of course, as I'm talking, I forgot what town it was here in America, but these paramedics showed up to a scene where a woman had gotten into a car accident and they could hear her say, help me. And they said it sounded very calm. And so as they were looking at the wreckage, the woman had passed away, but her baby was alive in the back seat. And they said because of them hearing that voice, that they felt like they were able to find the baby in time and save the baby. And so that one was considered a miracle to them. And I thought it was a really interesting and kind of uplifting story for something so horrible to happen.
We actually had a story, and I'm wondering, this has probably happened though. I mean, because you never know what the power of our soul can do when it's in crisis at the time you die, right? I mean, but we had a very similar thing happen almost to the T in the county I grew up in, up by close to in El Dorado County, which borders Lake Tahoe, and it goes down to Sacramento County. So it's a really big county, east to west. And the same thing happened. And we had a young mom go down an embankment, right, the cliff, basically, and she died. But I don't know if it was paramedics or police officers that heard the voice and was drawn to. Then they took another look at You didn't see skid marks, so there wasn't anything obvious, but it was obvious if you stopped your car, got out and looked to see broken brush.
Huh.
And then you could see the tire tracks going down the cliff, and they were able to find a baby.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's kind of like the adrenaline that like mothers or fathers have. Like, you know, you hear of people being able to like lift up a car to like save their children, that kind of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So it would make sense to me if we could do something so crazy here in the physical realm. It's not that far-fetched to think
Right.
that we can have some influence or be able to do something
Yep.
in the afterlife. Yeah.
And you had another one, Dirty Bird?
Well, I had a couple of them, but
Okay.
well,
The
I
one
find
about
it.
the blood sounded interesting to me. So what is that?
Let's see. Where did it go? One second.
Yeah, miracles. So the power of prayer, and I am not a Christian person, but I do believe in the power of prayer. Whoever you're praying to, right? That you come together and you form these prayer circles, or you ask people to pray for healing or whatever. It's been documented to help. Like people who are on death's door and the doctors are saying there's absolutely no hope. This is it. And then these prayer circles form, and then all of a sudden you get these people are all of a sudden healed, and there's no medical explanation for it. So yeah.
Right. I think it's just called different things. Like, you know, manifestation is a huge one right now in the spiritual community. But really, when you break it down, it's no different than a prayer, except for who you're manifesting or praying to. So
Right. Yeah.
there's something to it for sure.
Definitely. What you got there? Dirty Bird?
Me?
Yeah. Shoot.
Yeah, I can't find it.
Okay.
It's here somewhere.
All
It's
right.
here somewhere, but I'll do. I picked another one just in
Okay.
case. It's called Our Lady of Guadalupe.
I've heard about
So
this, I think.
in 1531, a Mexican peasant named Juan Diego had a sighting of the Virgin Mary.
I can hear Decon right now doing Taco Bell. I really can. Just so
Taco
you know.
Bell.
Okay, go ahead.
So she appeared to him and she requested a temple be built and told Juan Diego to ask the bishop of the nearby town to build it. The bishop didn't believe him and requested a sign. So the Virgin Mary provided a sign in two ways. Diego was told to pick roses from a barren hill and put them in his cloak. When he did this, he brought the roses to the bishop, and out of his cloak came a painting of the Mother Mary. It still exists today, and it's perfectly preserved despite no alterations or anyone doing a thing to it. So the Virgin Mary appears to Juan Diego and says, "Build me a temple." And he's like, "Oh, okay." who's gonna argue with the Virgin Mary? Goes and tells the bishop, and the bishop was like, nah, show me proof. And the Virgin Mary's like, all right, go on this hill, pick these roses, I'll show him. Goes back to the bishop, opens his cloak, and painting falls out. And it's still well preserved today. It's like it's never been, sun dry or sun bleached. The paint is still as fresh as it was when it fell out of his cloak, and it never decays. I found that really kind of interesting.
Yeah, there are those stories that you read about. Some of them have been debunked, but others have not. About like the statue, the Virgin Mary that will cry blood or oil, like and
Holy
they
water, tears, yeah.
like tears or oil or blood. And so it's really interesting because you'll get some of them are obviously debunked, but others, you'll have people looking and there's nothing there that would make that happen. So, those are
another
interesting.
couple of things I came across is like some of these saints, when they pass away, there's a couple of them. They don't decay. They stay exactly how they looked when they passed.
Mm. Yeah, that's interesting.
And there's a couple of them. I'm just like that is weird. Unless
That is
yeah,
divine
it's
something,
almost it's almost like the ascended masters or something like that. They got real close, so they're like, okay, well, the gift is that you never decay.
Right.
You still die, but you'll look good forever. So
I picked a miracle that is really close to home, literally.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, and I remember so I just went through this town Saturday, and we were talking about it on the way through town, and it jogged my memory. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this story. So I came home and I started researching it. I'm like, yeah, this is definitely one to talk about. And it's called the Cokeville Miracle. And it's a lot of people around here are probably familiar with it. Some people probably have never heard about it. And it was in 1979. There was a man named David Young, and he lived in Cokeville, and he was the town marshal. And for only about 6 months, and then he got fired for misconduct of some kind. I can't figure out why he was fired, but the mayor fired him. So I found two different versions, and I'm not sure which one's real. There was a lot of different stuff online and that conflicted about all of this stuff. But so one of it was that he met his wife Doris in Cokeville, and then they moved to Arizona after he was fired. Another story said he met his then future wife Doris in Arizona. But regardless, he moved to Arizona. He's became married to Doris. I guess that was his second wife, I think. And he had a daughter by a previous marriage. And again, conflicting data. So I heard her name was Princess, and I also heard that her name was Penny. I don't know what to believe. So anyway, for this story, we're going to call her Princess because that sounds cool.
I like it.
Yeah. So he worked down there. He was in Arizona, and he was considered a rational guy, but somewhere along the line, he started becoming really unhinged. Some of the data said that he became like a right-wing extremist, which I hate saying that, left-wing or right-wing. He became aligned with groups that most people aren't aligned with. Some articles said that he was aligned with some of the skinhead groups. There was just all kinds of stuff, and I don't know what's true. All I know is he became very radicalized, and he began experimenting with explosives. And at one point, he actually got it was like in the mid 80s, he got a school bus. It was empty, thank God. And he packed it with explosives and blew it up so he could perfect his bomb making experience, right? He wanted to make bigger and more destructive bombs. I don't know to what end, but we do find out to what end here. I mean, I don't know what the FBI has, apparently he kept diaries, and they have like 16 of his diaries, and they've been, going through all of his diaries ever since this to try to figure out his brain, although I don't know why at this point. But anyway, let's see. It was in May, I think it was May 16th, 1986. His wife Doris, his daughter Princess, and two of his buddies decided on, well, he and his wife and his two buddies, his daughter probably didn't have anything to do with this part. They wanted a get rich quick scheme. And they wanted to make this like utopian town.
Ooh.
So they thought, what better way to do this but kidnap a whole bunch of people and hold them for ransom?
What could go wrong?
Yeah, what could go wrong with this? So what better place to go but a small town in small town America? And where better to go but Cokeville? So in his diaries, it said that he chose Cokeville because the kids were taken care of so that they would be worth more, because he wanted to ask $2 million per hostage. That was their initial plan. I think he chose Cokeville because he was pissed off at the community. I think it was like an act of revenge. I'm going to go back to the community where I got fired and I'll show them. Probably a little double whammy there, right? He wanted to make the money and he wanted to go back to a town that wronged him. So his two buddies, his wife and his daughter, drive up to Cokeville from Arizona, and they start doing like recon of the school, and the two buddies stay behind in the van, and David and Doris and Princess go to the school. But when they get up to the school, Princess bails and she runs to find help because she doesn't like what's going down, because she was never a part of this, didn't want any part of it. And she goes back apparently to the van and tells the two guys in the van what her dad's up to. I cannot believe that they didn't know, because they drove up there with these explosives. So they had to have known, because they were gasoline explosives, bombs, big bombs.
Very obvious in the back of the car.
Very obvious in the back of a van. You don't just cover it with a blanket and say, don't look there. And he had something like 20 different firearms, shotguns, handguns, and everything. So they were going to go into the school, and they did take, and I see different numbers, anywhere from 154 to 167 hostages. So what they do is they get into the school and they gather all of the kids into one classroom. And these kids are like kindergarten to like fourth grade.
Yeah.
And so they get them into a classroom designed for students, all of these people, and they all have to sit. And they're in there, and he had planted 2 bombs in the school and brought one into the classroom with him. And it was strapped to him. Okay. And he had a dead man switch. So that means if you take off of it, then it goes. This bomb, I read from the Wyoming, there was only one explosive at the time in Wyoming, like bomb squad, state police. And he, when he found that they'd taken the stage, and he was brave and he wanted to talk to again, he wanted 2 million, all of these hostages. He wanted these demands. He was like on the other side of Wyoming, and he said he was driving so fast to get to the school that he blew up the engine in his car. Like, it blew up. When he finally got to the school, it was done. He blew the engine out of that car. Yeah, he said that he didn't know how fast he was going, but like he was pegged on the speedometer. And just hope, he said he was flying so fast. He goes, all I was looking for was cars and critters, and just trying.
Thank goodness that Wyoming is mostly flat.
Yeah. So, anyway, so David and Doris' classroom, the kids these are little tiny kids, not going to stay quiet for long. So, and you're going to see in pictures here in a minute that what I guess one of the teachers decided to get some tape, and she had she was talking with David, and she said, why don't we tape off a square around you guys so that the kids know, like, this is, because he kept, I guess, yelling at them to back up, back up, back up. But you got all these people in a classroom built for 30 people.
Right.
And so they had stacked up like all of the desks and chairs and stuff to try to make room for all of these people. And so you'll see in some of these photos where they had taped a square, and that's where David, Doris, and the bomb was. And they're in there, and I guess after a couple hours, I mean, David, obviously, he's sweating profusely. He's antsy. He's amped up. Who knows if he was on some kind of stimulant? I don't know, speed maybe in the 80s, I guess. so we talk about his demands and how much he wanted. Most of this community they're LDS in this community and Mormon, and um, they're pretty religious, and so the kids and the teacher started praying for a miracle, and I think that was a little triggering to David as well. So he's getting antsy, and so one of the stories says he leaves the classroom and he leaves the dead man switch with his wife, Doris. And she's in the middle of the square with this huge gasoline bomb, huge. And the bomb technician later said that the way this bomb was designed, the way he constructed every layer of this bomb, it was designed to mushroom out sideways to do the maximum damage and take down the whole school. And so there's other two explosives too, right? So now everybody's aware that the kids are hostage. Everybody's aware that this crisis is going on, but they don't know that there's these other two bombs in the school. So one story said David leaves to go to the bathroom. The other story says he just left the classroom. Who knows why? Maybe to check on the other bombs. Maybe to try to figure out where his buddies are. I don't know. But whatever happens, Doris takes her finger off the dead man switch and it goes off. The bomb goes off. So you have, let's say it's 154 or 160, I don't know, 154 to 167 hostages. It doesn't matter at this point. The bomb goes off. These kids are all the way against this tape that's around this bomb. They're sitting there Indian style all the way around this bomb. So they're less than 5 feet away from the bomb. And none of the hostages died. None of them died. So the bomb, when it went off, it basically went straight up and didn't mushroom out. And the bomb technician who came in afterwards, he didn't get there until after the bomb went off because he was on the other side of the state. He said that the other thing that helped, everybody was sitting on the floor and all the kids were so small that when the blast went out, it basically went over their heads. So at this point, there's immediately alive. They open the windows and they start kids out the window as fast as they can. They're just grabbing bodies out. Well, David hears the bomb go off. He runs towards the classroom, and in all of the smoke and chaos and all that, he sees Doris laying there, and she's like gravely injured. So he takes out his .45, shoots her in the head. Then he shoots himself. Done. It's over. But in all of the panic of chucking bodies out the window, somebody grabbed Doris and chucked her out the window too. So when the bomb technician shows up, he's like, they're looking for dead kids. He figures at this point, we're going to have to assemble parts and try to figure out what kid is what, because that's how massive this bomb was. And there were no dead children. There's no dead hostages anywhere. There were about 77 or so kids that had burns on them from the heat and some of the vapor, I guess, that as it went off, they had some burns. But none of the kids were gravely injured. None of the kids lost limbs. I mean, they couldn't believe this. They're all, you'd show, and I'm going to show you some pictures of the classroom. So the thing was, there was a movie made about this, and a lot of people argue about the miracle aspect of this and the faith aspect of this. And I am the last one to for religion, but anyway.
I thought I heard something about when they were praying in the classroom, like a couple of kids said that they swear they saw an angel come down.
Yeah, and I'm going to show you a very interesting photo. So when they were on the sounds, they had all of these kids that were not taken away to the right then and there. They were starting them, and the teachers all said that right before the bomb off, they saw in the classroom this bright light. And they believe that that shielded them from the blast. The bomb technicians said that because the bomb went straight up and because they had a drop ceiling in the classroom, that took most of the force of the blast. But let me show you.
It's just insane with all the odds. Like, it's almost like, how did everything work out so perfectly?
So this is a blurry photo, but it's the best I could find. This is, you can see the classroom, and you can see the tape right here on the classroom floor. That's how close, this is the bomb. That's how close those kids were sitting to the bomb. Then let me share the next photo, which is, let's see. This is a picture after you can see the drop ceiling and the bomb. I mean, it really didn't do that much damage. And you can kind of see what I was going to show you on the wall. This is a police photograph, not a newspaper photograph. And this is this really interesting photo that was taken by the police of the wall. Now, I don't know what that is. I have no idea what that is.
Where?
On the wall. What is that image of?
Yeah, it looks like an angel. Like,
yeah, a lot of people
human.
say
Yeah.
that the imprint of the angel that had the wings, and that's what was shielding the kids.
Yeah, I thought the wings were out like this, like typical angel with unfolded wings.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's I don't know what the interpretation is. But I don't know what this, to me, was a very curious photo because I can't figure out what this imprint is of on the wall.
Mm.
You know, if we saw that on a paranormal investigation, we would wonder what that is, right? So I don't know what that is. The kids explain that the angel had its wings out. I don't know what this thing is, though. I don't know what this imprint could be of. That's curious to me. But I do know that something shielded 154 to 167 hostages from being 5 feet away from a bomb big enough to level the school. Something shielded those kids, those hostages.
Especially with someone who had practice. Like, this wasn't his first bomb attempt.
This wasn't his first rodeo. It took them 4 to 5 hours to clear the school to find the other 2 devices. And how they knew there were 2 more devices was, I think it was Princess who told them. Because when she got to the school and realized what they were going to do, she thought they were just going to take hostages and demand money. She didn't know he was going to blow anything up. So that's why she's like, whoa, I'm out. And she ran and got help.
Yeah,
and
that's what I thought I heard, is that, like, one of them was like, we're doing what? No, we're not.
Yeah, so they went to the van and they found the other 2 fellas, right? And started questioning them. And they're like, we did not know. We just wanted money. We didn't know that he was going to do any of this. And when they started backing out is when he saw them take, what they said was when the guns and everything started coming out of the van. You have a gasoline bomb, you're going to smell that in a van. I'm sorry. And the bomb explosives police officer said that one of the bomb in the classroom actually had a pinhole leak and was leaking gasoline just very, very slowly. So it probably leaked out a little bit, but not enough to not still do the impact it should have. And that Doris had been complaining of a migraine from the fumes. Like, the classroom was filling full of gasoline fumes. So when this bomb went off, it should have really been powerful because you had all these fumes built up, right? And when they looked at the device afterwards, because, a lot of times bombs themselves don't completely blow up, right? So you have enough to look at the construction of these things. And he said one of the wires had been cut, and they don't know how a wire got cut with wire cutters. And they don't know how that would have happened, because they just don't know, but it still went off. The dead man switch still worked, but I don't know if it was like, they didn't say whether the other two had any kind of triggering device on them. So the one switch was supposed to detonate all 3 bombs. I don't know. I don't know. But
or
they
just
did
like
find
the
the other 2.
explosion from the
Huh?
one was supposed, or the explosion from the one would have impacted the others, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
But because it didn't mushroom out sideways the way it was designed to do, the other ones apparently just didn't go off. So they did find the other 2 devices and clear the school. And I just thought it was absolutely fascinating chain of events that I can't, there's no explanation. And even the bomb tech who does this for a living says there's no rational reason why these children live.
Yeah.
It doesn't make, now the people who are, anti-religion or whatever, this movie came out, a movie came out called, I think it was called,
The
was it
Cokeville
the Miracle?
Miracle.
Cokeville Miracle. And it really did take the religious tone and the miracle tone and everything else. And a lot of people were poo-pooing it. But does it matter what it was?
No.
No. I mean, something happened on the level of a miracle happened to save those children and those teachers from being killed by a bomb.
I find it super interesting that there was they had to drag it all the way from Arizona, right? And he's an expert bomb maker,
right?
And somehow he didn't check his work, and a wire got cut, and he had a pinhole leak in that, and nobody smelt that, and they drove that.
Oh, he did smell it.
But
you mean in the van?
They
Yeah.
drove it all
Yeah.
all the way from Arizona. You would think by like at least like 2 or 3 hours they'd be like passed out and puking.
Oh, I know. So the other thing, so they Princess and the 2 guys, I don't think they were convicted of anything. I think they were. I don't think that I saw like any indictments were handed down to them. They didn't do any time, anything.
No, the princess didn't get charged. I think the 2 may had something thrown, but
Didn't
they
see
didn't
that they did
stick.
any time.
Yeah, it didn't stick. They were like, we had no idea that
Well, and that's it. They and who knows, maybe just because they were so damn relieved all the kids lived, everybody lived except the 2 scumbags, maybe they're like, just get the hell out of here. I don't know. Who knows?
Either that or they just didn't ask questions, right? Like they didn't really care, honestly, how they were going to get their money, but they made sure not to know enough information to know what was really
who would
going on.
not notice someone opening up the back of the van and chucking weapons in the back?
I don't know. Maybe
and then
they're
hauling in like three gas bombs, and you look in the rearview mirror and you're like, yeah, I didn't see nothing. I just want my money.
I don't know. Like I said, maybe he had moving shipping blankets over the top of everything, and they didn't see him.
He
and
might have had it prepped before they got in the van too.
Yeah, who knows? But I do know
maybe there's
that
a weapons convention at the school or something. Like, you know what I mean? If you want to be oblivious, you can be oblivious to stuff. Like it's if you intend to.
I don't think you are truly oblivious, though. Shit's really down. You're just saying, I don't hear any. Remember what you were doing?
Yeah.
You want to make $6 million? Yeah, okay, then la.
What kills me about people like this scumbag David was, and I'm not showing this picture on purpose because he doesn't deserve the notoriety. What kills me about is that they want this utopian world by killing innocent people who have nothing to do with your twisted view on the world. These are children who've never done anything to you. And teachers who you've probably never met before. I don't understand the logic of terror.
It's straight out of a playbook. I'm not kidding. It's straight out.
No, I know. But I don't understand their twisted, sick brains. I will never get it.
Yeah. Unless you're there, I don't think you can, right?
Yeah.
No. But we're focusing on the miracles, and I think we've had some really interesting miracles. But I want to know, Dirty Bird, did you ever find the blood story?
No.
There's something about.
I got wrapped up into this and I forgot.
No, it's cool. I guess you said something about blood in a vial that is so old it's powder, but every once in a while it turns
Every
liquid.
once in a while, it turns back into liquid, and when it does, it's a big to-do thing in the community that it's from. It up to something like a like I don't know, like this coming type of thing.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened
Maybe
yet.
they their story around the blood. So that's like the whole. Was it 2012? The world was supposed to end again,
The
according to
Mayan
the
calendar.
Mayan.
Yeah.
It's like, well, and then
YK.
we proved old Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell wrong about the end of the world on that one too. I was so happy to see that.
Yes.
So
That
anyway,
was a hard case to follow.
it is a hard case still to follow. Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, we hope that you enjoyed this episode of Nightmare Road. And so remember, folks, to please like and subscribe and share these episodes, as Decon would say, even with your worst friend.
Worst friend.
Worst friend.
Yeah.
Share the episodes. We truly missed him on this episode. He will be watching this, I'm sure, tomorrow. And we remember to look both ways before you cross Nightmare Road. Bye.
Hi, everybody.